Upton 187 Crew is a homegrown team based out of Fox 4 Paintball Field in the small town of Upton, Massachusetts. Going through the divisionals, they were always a force to be reckoned with, and ended their 2011 season in Division 1 with a first-place finish at World Cup. This earned them a spot in the 2012 Pro Division, and they shocked the world when they put up 5 unanswered points against the Russian Legion.
We went up on the Russians like, 3-0, 4-0, 5-0. And everything was clicking. We're like, we can actually play. Everyone in the pitch was like, these guys are nothing. We're good. And then in Russian fashion, they came back and put us on the next 6 points. We ended up losing the game.
Going up, 5 points against the Russians, we're like, oh, it's just same old, we're going to crush everybody. And then it's like, sanity check, these guys are better than us.
For the rest of the season, we, I think, got the reputation of a team, not to take lightly, a team that could win matches. We ended up beating a couple of good teams, but after that, I think either teams figured us out and they knew, just to stop us from being aggressive or, just to shoot out a key player, and our experience, I think, really showed.
It was kind of cool to have everybody respecting you, but in our mind, we were like, no, we want to win. We want to actually win. And even though people were like, oh, we respect you for winning games and making it close, it was like, that was almost an insult for us because we wanted to win, but it was a sanity check for us. It takes years of pro experience to win, and that's what we're doing right now.
At the end of the 2012 season, we lost a couple core members. We lost B-Money, Brian Feinberg. We lost Jansen, who were both on our rise from D2, D1 to pro. We also lost Carlin, who was definitely a leader on the team. After we lost those three, we were like, we gotta pick up some guys. We're running real low. We got 5 guys that can play. So we picked up 2 up-and-coming guys. We picked up Nick Roberts and Josh Pike, who we knew going into the event probably wouldn't get a lot of spins, but we wanted to get them at the event, the feel of the event, throw them in a couple points here and there, and hopefully after a couple of events they would get to the level where we wanted them to play at.
In that game against the Tauntauns, the first point, just disaster, getting shot off the break. People getting penalties, but it doesn't matter if we go out there and we have some major or disastrous first point. We can't let that first point dictate the pace of the game.
Didn't expect the Tauntauns to play as fast and aggressive as they did, but I would say that was my fault because I didn't really scout them at all. We kind of went into that game blindly, and we're just kind of hoping for the best, and you can't do that in pro paintball. They did a good job taking advantage of times that we had guys in the box, and they won all the points that we got penalties on, so that was a good job by them.
We just had to try and keep our mind in the game and understand that we had a slow start, but we got to recover.
I remember a specific point in that match. I knew he was coming to bunker me, and I wrapped at right time, shot him, and then came back in my bunker, but he continued on and bunkered me. I looked at the ref and said, I definitely shot him first, right? And the ref kind of just agreed, so I kept playing. And after that, they decided to make a call that I got shot and shouldn't have kept playing and gave me a major penalty. And I think that pretty much was the nail in the coffin.
Coming off a Tauntauns game, we definitely had a fire under our ass. We wanted to play harder. We had Infamous up next.
The team definitely felt like we had a chance to win the event. So with one loss going in, you definitely need to come up big on your second game.
Things are going well against Infamous, and I run out to my bunker, get shot in the loader. It's a pretty legit penalty. You hate to see that, though. So I got a minor, go into the box, and luckily crazy stuff was going on. Some people got sloppy on the Infamous side. Greg ended up shooting them. But what happened was their last guy is running in the flag, and the ref was like, look, you're coming out in 3 seconds. The guy's like 20 feet away. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right, cool. So he's like, now. And I run out, and he's probably a foot away from me. And I just shoot him in his leg and think there's another guy. It was the guy that Greg had shot. I didn't know he actually shot him. And then that was it. Start to run in the flag, saw their pod guy come out. I was like, this is crazy. So they had made a mistake. They had put 2 minutes on the board, so whoever was running the flag had no idea. And it ended up, the refs decided that we had traded. So it ended up being a point for them, so it was sort of weird, but crazy point.
When we go to play Infamous, we're really looking to shoot a couple of their key players off the break and stay alive. They always have our number. I always try to shoot Damien out off the break. He always stays in, always goes to the X, always shoots like 5 of us. And I remember it being a battle. That's probably the toughest we played Infamous all season.
Information on their side of the field, man.
Going into the overtime point, we all felt pretty good. The majority of us weren't tired.
It was a bad decision. I really should have just tucked my head. I should have tucked my head and went in.
I get to their side of the field, and I'm at their head of the snake. They still got like 4 bodies alive. And I figured just sit there, because if I'm in their end of the snake, I got all this heat around me. We can come up the Dorito side.
I had a mind battle in my head. I was like, should I take the move? Should I not? If I catch a random ball, I'm done. Our team will lose. Do I push? Or do I sit back? And I'll never have that mind battle again. I'm always going to be pushing because I made the wrong choice there.
It got down to maybe 20 seconds left, crunch time, do something crazy. Ran down the field, traded out with my one guy, and then Tony had thrown a major from the other side of the field, which totally caught us all off guard. I guess it wasn't on me, I guess it was on BJ, but we got a major in overtime when we lost the game. Definitely a tough match to lose, because we played them so hard, and it was the first time that we were kind of in a match with them. And then to lose in overtime just sucked. Sucked. We went back saying, look, we totally stepped on it against the Tauntauns game. If we can play like we played against Infamous, we think we can take these 2 games. We still think we got a shot.
We came out with intensity in the Ironman match. First 2 points, we crushed them on both sides of the field, ended up going up 2-0.
We won the first 2 points, and we were like, all right, cool, we're playing just like we were in the Infamous match. Everybody was running good, everybody was playing smart, but they're one of the best teams in the world. They come back, it's difficult.
Eddie called himself out and put up his hand, got out of the bunker. Paxton threw him like 3 more. I kind of made a noise walking by the ref, like, really? And I got the call my way, so he threw up the flag. Obviously, Mike wasn't too happy about it, but I mean, Mike, if you watch this, I thought it was kind of funny. Ironman really started pushing the snake. It seemed like they were adapting to what we were doing.
I remember thinking to myself before the match, like, they make the D3, I'm making this move, it's gonna work. And I hear D3, I'm like, oh, here we go. And I get to D3 where Marcelo was supposed to be, and he's staring at me in D2 and just destroys me. At no point did we think we had lost. We always thought we had a chance to win. And that's the way we always look at matches.
Marcelo's a really good player. I kind of thought that I could trick him into the right move. I went over to the snake side and came back and tried to shoot the gap, and he didn't go. So I was like, all right, he's gonna stay there. I went as fast as I could and tried to shoot A-Rod in the back. And as I got that shot, I tried to switch just in case Marcelo went, and he already went. He went faster than I thought he was gonna go, and he shot me out too, and Dan. So that was a great move on his part. The next point, we win it pretty quickly and hang the flag, but at that point there wasn't enough time to even play another point, so that match ended 6-5.
After having 3 losses, it's definitely tough to stay motivated, but we're pretty good as a team to get on each other's backs and get our confidence back. Going into Thunder, we had the same expectation going into every match that we were going to win. We knew they had been struggling a little bit, we're struggling, but here's a chance to really get our gears going. Thunder went up, I think, 3-0 on us. And so, again, we're in the pits down points, so we're like, enough of this shit, let's go. And we eventually put on a run of points.
Everyone was really motivated from the last 3 matches, and we're really looking to show that we still belonged in the Champions Division.
Hey, keep up the fucking intensity. Keep doing that. Keep going. Hey, BJ, you're all right.
We adjusted really quickly to them, and then after that, they didn't really adjust at all. We just kind of kept it up after that, and I think they only won 1 more point.
We were 1-3. We knew we were going to be playing for relegation, so it was go home, do our homework, get ready to stay in the Champions Division. Now, instead of playing finals matches to win a tournament, now we're playing finals matches not to bump down. So it's definitely a different feeling. There's more of a sense of urgency behind it. If you suck this match, then you're not going to be playing here again.
The vicious game was back and forth. It was a long match. It was a grind, but we were just trying to keep our heads straight, play paintball point after point, pulled it out.
We match up pretty well against Vicious, so our history kind of comes down to like a back and forth game. Because of the way that our team kind of treats just paintball in general, it's very much like, let's not get emotional when we're down points, or like even emotional when we're up points. We definitely didn't want to lose
that champion spot.
In our mind, we were playing the best paintball we've ever played. So we thought, we're going to go into this vicious game and win, and then there's going to be another game where we're going to win, and we're just thinking, got to stay in champions no matter what.
Going into the X Factor match, we treated that like a finals match. It was a must-need win. We didn't want to get bumped down. To us, it was the most important match of the tournament. I think it was the second point. Cole tries to come down and bunker me, misses me. Nick shoots him out. And so as Nick is shooting him, I turn and shoot Cole in the back as well. And as I'm coming back in, they were in our snake. So their snake player shot me, and a ref from across the field comes over. He's like, you spun, get in the box. I'm like, I didn't get shot by him. What are you doing? And so I'm fuming getting to the box. I'm like, this is bullshit. So I come out of the box and I start arguing with the ref.
Ref, he missed me when he came around, ref. He missed me. The guy just sneaked forward. He missed me when he came around. Because I shot him. No, get out there and argue that. That's bullshit.
And next point, I'm in the box, fuming still.
No matter what the score is, Noel does a very good job of keeping everyone's head towards the future, thinking about the next point.
I was like, when I come out of here, I am going nuts. So I remember coming out, running to the Dorito Tower. It was a 2-on-2 with Greg and I. Greg gets clipped, and it's a 2-on-1 against Scott Kemp and Dixon Yang. And I just remember I got like 6 or 7 pods on my back. I'm like, I'm just not gonna let them come out of their bunker. So I'm just rapping constantly, and I got lucky, clipped Scott, and then Dixon came out into a ball, and I was like, all right, let's go. For the rest of that match, that penalty fueled me. I remember being out there thinking like I had a ridiculous amount of energy, and it was just all the adrenaline from being in the box and being angry. Momentum was good, mentality was good, and we're like, all right, let's win this thing. Plenty of time, a lot of paintball left.
I think they were down bodies. Archie was in the corner, and maybe somebody died behind me, but I just heard the stands, erupting, saying he's coming highway. And I had a view of the highway, but what had happened was he had already run past that gap that I was looking at, so he just shot me in the side. It was a great move. Sometimes you get penalties, sometimes you get shot stupid, but we all came together, we were playing smart, and that was the best paintball we've ever seen this team play.
I shoot crossfield and I hit the corner guy. And after I shot him, I took off down the inside of the Doritos. And when I took off, I knew Brian was shooting that way too. So I knew I had him. I was just going down to trade. I wasn't gonna try to get him clean or anything like that. And I go down and he runs around the outside of the D1 and I run down the inside and we're kind of going around it. And we both shot each other at the same time. And next thing you know, they give me a major, which I couldn't believe. I understand that it happens because the refs are doing their job, and it was a crazy point.
Terrible timing. It's a close match. We're still going to pull it out. We're going to go out there and play 5-on-4. We're going to shoot somebody off the break. We're going to pull this out. And then right after that happened, BJ got a major and it was 5-on-3. And we're just like, really? Inside, we were like, man, as too much.
All right, 3-on-5, let's do this. I remember being like, all right, Gordon Bombay, flying V, let's go. Let's make it to our bunkers and just gunfight everyone.
The score doesn't show it because once we got the 2 penalties, they ran away with it. But that was honestly a battle, and we put everything we had into it. It was hard to lose like that. I'd rather lose straight up, you know.
It just sucked to have played so hard and to just get knocked down. Like, it felt like someone just punched me in the nuts.
How are we supposed to fight back with 2 guys in the box that didn't even do shit? It's not bad luck, it's fucking insanity.
Well, our first reaction after getting relegated was this sucks, but at the same time, when we got relegated, it was like, look, we're going to go down there, we're going to win an event, we're going to come back on fire, and that was it. I mean, you know, it was emotional right away, but at the end of the day, shit happens, you got to come back.
Going down to the Challengers division after playing some of the best teams in the world, you definitely have a big chip on your shoulder.
When we got knocked down to Challengers, we did need to make a statement. I mean, we came into there going, look, we need to get back to champions, and while we're on our way back to champions, we're going to make a statement that we do not belong in Challengers.
We wanted to say that we don't belong here, we belong with the big boys. After I went against Aftershock, we just wanted to keep the momentum going.
We have a lot of respect for Texas Storm. I mean, coming up through the ranks, they would always give us really tough games.
This was their first chance to kind of get at a pro team. That first match that they played against us, they were kind of more excited to play us than they were to play their best paintball.
When we go up 2-0, we relax and we say we did our jobs and we're going to do our jobs the next day. So we go out to eat, we get a steak, and we get our sleep, and we come out and we win another 2 games.
You've been, for years, been back and forth with Top Gun in finals matches, prelim matches, and they've always been close games.
I think we were just playing Top Gun point for point. It was just a back and forth game.
I just went down, got to 50. I should have just sat there, made them come and get me, pull them out of their comfort zone. But instead, I decided to go try to get some kills, and they beat us that point because of that mistake.
We're a team that really likes to push the tempo, and they're a team that really likes to slow it down. If they can get to bunkers where they can really slow it down, it really puts a wrench in our gears.
Top Gun game was tied 4-4. They went into overtime. I think they pushed the middle on us, ended up taking the game. After the Top Gun game, Dave came over and reamed us a new one. Very emotionally charged.
Having history with Top Gun, playing each other, practicing each other a lot, our two owners are pretty close. They always have a little joust before and after games. Dave wasn't too happy that we lost the game, obviously, because he lost the joust, and he kind of took it out on us.
We knew what we had to do. We knew that we needed to beat the next team pretty handily to make sure our point margin was up, because we were not staying in the Challengers division.
We're going to that fourth match like, okay, just another game, just another win we need to get.
We knew we needed to put them into the ground. We knew we needed to get a lot of points for our spread. We wanted to get to those bunkers before them, and I think we did a pretty good job with that.
With our two highly scored wins and then a loss that was only 1 point, beating Excessive actually let us get into Sunday and caused both Excessive and Top Gun to not be able to play on Sunday.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, and murder!
We didn't really get to see Thunder play too much. And going into Sunday, we knew that they were going to be coming just as hard as we were to get that spot. This did not look like the same Thunder we had played the previous event. They were playing probably the best paintball I've seen them play. They were hungry.
Nick, did you know the whole game? I told you at 30 seconds, I told you at 20, I told you at 15. Hey, that's on you. We're just down by one. That's it.
They were coming up the field pretty hard against us and doing a very good job controlling our front guys, whereas we were kind of expecting to shoot them out of certain spots and we weren't getting those kills. So it ended up being a really close, tough match.
Losing is not an option at this point. There's no way. We knew as a team that we'd been battling for this entire tournament. We're not going to lose this match. The MAO event was awesome. We had a bunch of support from local teams, a bunch of family members there, a bunch of girlfriends. It was nice to see so much support being out there.
No fucking reason why.
Hey, where do we want to be in the first minute to shoot that guy out of the box?
Hey, we're working on
If you fucking forget about the penalty, you're a fucking idiot, okay? Don't forget about that.
That's a free fucking kill, alright? Let's go. Get the fuck up. Let's go.
Let's get it, boys!
Hey,
Guys, 3 minutes. This is a 3-minute overtime, alright? Everyone understand the time.
Once we got into overtime, like we've been here before, we know what to do. Just get to your bunkers, communicate, we'll pull it off.
I'm watching the clock dwindle, and next thing you know, I see, I think 40-something seconds or a minute. So I was like, I'm gonna get down the field and get a kill while we can still beat them this point, no matter what, I don't want to wait until 30 seconds, then pull that move, and then we run out of time. I gotta pull that move now. I feel some pain come my way from, I think, the D1. And I just had the mentality I'm going no matter what. I'm taking this guy out. So he comes right out, I pop him in my first 2 shots. Max comes up, cleans up. They throw me in the box for a 2-minute major. They throw Max in the box, doesn't matter, Eddie's coming down the middle. That one kill kind of broke the open of the game.
Guys, that was an important win, but you have to one more. Let's go! Good shit, Eddie. Hands up,
Fucking 3-1? 4-3 win? Let's go, boys. That's how we do it. That's fucking how we do it, all right?
Champions.
Fucking back. What do you want?
Fucking back.
Hey, the chair. Up down! Up down! Up down! And murder! Yeah, boys! Yeah, baby! That's the way we do it, boys! That's the way!
Our initial goal was to go back up to the Champions Division. So right there, we had accomplished our most important goal, and we're back. So we felt a lot more relaxed. Now we're playing for first and second against Vicious, and I think that attitude kind of showed. I remember Noel saying that this match was going to be a grind because they know that we put them in the Challengers Division, and they're going to come out and try to put it on us.
They had just brought on a very seasoned pro coach. They went up on us 2 points. Coach is saying, hey, chill it out. I mean, in that situation, sure, why not? Slow the game down. I ended up getting into one-on-one in the Vicious match, and pretty quickly I realized that this guy was just going to sit there. And I had all the freedom to move around, so what I thought was I could get super close to him, I could riddle his bunker, I could take him out, but I didn't expect him to be like that stone cold, like I am not going to do anything. I was like 2 feet away from him in a pin. Ended up just having to smoke him out, and he was there with his barrel pointed at me ready. We just traded. 100% right move on his part. I just couldn't do anything about it.
I just felt like everything I tried to do or could do, I tried and I got shot. The red jerseys were distracting me, man.
There was one point where I thought it was going to completely change the momentum. It was a 2-on-2 with Eddie and I. I got up the field into the 50 Dorito and kind of found this little gap where I could see the snake corner, and I shot some balls that way, and I just knew that they were on. So I made a move to go bunker out the tower, and he made a move up the center of the field, which kind of threw me off. I only shot him out and then ended up getting shot by the corner guy. I knew I shot him. I should have made sure.
They did a very good job of making us play the game that they wanted us to. Eddie had the flag, and he was like feet from hanging it, but I forget who was in the corner for Vicious, but he just played it like so intelligently and just waited for Eddie to make the move to the box. He knew Eddie had to get there, and Eddie did everything he could to get there, but they just played that game the entire time. It was, you're going to play our game, and that's it.
Full on sprint. You got 20 seconds a point. Full on sprint right now.
Too little, too late as we were trying to win some quick points, and I knew I couldn't get shot if I went underneath, so that was the route I chose. Was like, we're frustrated, but we can't really do anything about it because you're still winning. Coming into that match, we thought that we had accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, which was get back into the Champions Division, and that definitely showed in our last game. Everyone was feeling good about getting back into the Champions Division, but was surprised about not feeling so great about getting a second place. So I think that was definitely a learning experience for us, to know that your only goal is first place. There's no in between. Like, your goal can never be, if you beat this one team, then you had a successful event. It really has to be that you win the event. That's it.
So first match, we're stoked to be back in Champions. We see our draw. We got a tough draw. We got Impact first. We're psyched. We want to play them. We want to play the best teams. That's what we're here for. And we go up and get ready to play them, and they crush us. We'd already be down 3 bodies, and the point just started. It's like they were shooting us off the break. They were getting the spots right away, and they were just shoving it down our throats.
Trouble going everywhere, Dan. Every single one I go to.
Hey, quit being stressed about it and get out there and do it.
Noel, as a coach, does a really good job at listening to what the players have to say, taking their input and turning it into a strategy.
See how he's doing it? See how he's doing it? I can shoot him.
All right, so that's on you, right?
We weren't really giving him enough feedback to change the game plan to something that we could compete with. Players were just as confused as the coaching staff, and I think that all in all, everyone put together didn't adjust what they were doing as fast as they should have, and we really weren't prepared for that game.
It's like we were coming out of Challengers, and it was just sort of a huge wake-up call, a very painful one.
They just ran up the score so quickly. By the time it was 7-1, we were like, we're ready to play paintball now.
We've had a history of coming out slow, and yeah, it sucked that we got crushed, but we know enough now, after playing a full year in pro and already another event, that sometimes you get crushed if you're not on your A game. We weren't on our A game. We knew that. We knew what we did wrong, and we're going to come out and try and fix it.
The first point was super long point against Heat. We eventually got it down to a 2-on-1. It was myself and Max against Sam in the back snake corner. I remember hearing Sam was looking the other way. So I made a bump without my gun up, and I paid for it. Then it turned into a 1-on-1, which should never happen.
was a one-on-one the first game, and 100% sure shot the guy first, and he spun on me. He even said in his interview that he closed his eyes and kept shooting, so that was pretty wild.
Because they were kind of close, Monville had a quick second to get some shots off that were slightly later than Max's, but because that's a tough call, the refs called them both out.
We had a 2-on-1, we made a little mistake, and that set the tempo for the rest of the match. I mean, Monville did his job, he did not die, we did not do our job, and we died. The little things add up after a while, and them having pros that are experienced and will not make those mistakes, they add up, and they add up to pro wins.
After only winning 1 point in 2 matches, we obviously weren't where we wanted to be or where we thought we were going to be, so there had to be some drastic changes in how we were going to play the field.
The tournament isn't over. We're 0-2. Our point margin isn't the best, but we can still make it. There's still a way to make it into the finals. If we went and 7-0 the next team and 7-0 the next team, our point margin is now positive, and now we're 2-2. We really wanted to shut down Axel because he's such a small target to hit, and when he gets into spots, he'll shoot a lot of people. So we're down 4-1. I finally get my way into the snake. They've been doing a pretty good job of keeping me out of there. And Chambon had just made his way into the snake as well, so I'm like, oh, here's my time. So I end up going down, bunkering him, and then making my way into their snake and catching their D2. Now we're down 2, it's a match. We're back in it. We got the momentum.
It was 4-2, I was in the snake, I got blown up. You know, mentally it's sort of like, oh, I just got blown up. But it was 5-2 was the bigger issue, so I didn't really sweat it. And it was really cool that the ref was nice enough to give the guy a penalty. We had just been embarrassed for 2 matches in a row. We went down 6-2, and we were like, hell no, this doesn't happen again. We're gonna buckle down, we're gonna come out there and beat these guys.
I think after losing your first 2 matches and then being down 6-2, it put us in a different gear. I remember getting ready to get up and my foot slips out from under me. I'm like, all right, fuck it, we're crawling. So I start crawling, and like at the last second, I just like throw my gun out and like fire 1 or 2 shots. And he had a couple hits on his pack, thank God.
We were able to come back from 6-2 to 6-6, brought it to overtime.
Any team coming back from any 4-point deficit, whether it's 6-2 or 4-0, shows resiliency. And I think our team showed that this match. But we need to be able to turn that gear on without a game pressure situation. We need to be able to have that sense of urgency.
Now we have 2 losses, a tie, and one of the best teams in the world to play.
Going to the Damage match, here's the thing, Damage has crushed us every time they've played us.
Fucking put him in the box. Get the fuck up. They say we don't fucking belong here. Alright guys? They say we don't fucking belong here. Show them what we got.
We're going against Damage, fourth game of the tournament, and first point everybody gets picked off the break.
We went down and practiced them, and it sort of got emotional because we were just getting slaughtered. And that's what happened. We went out once again and got slaughtered. And that's what I have to say about that.
Infamous put it on us. Just beat us 7-0. That's all I got to say about that.
One of the biggest things I think we need to do better of is listening to Noel's game plans. Not going out there and being like, we should do this, we should shoot this way. We need to listen to what Noel says. Because Noel has something in mind, and if we're not doing it, and he thinks we're doing it, then we're missing the whole game.
Either that or he'll just strip down to his underwear as he usually does.
Paintball Access does a fantastic job, and we usually go back and use it as a tool in our meetings. So we went back and watched the game against Infamous and saw what they were doing, trying to come up with a game plan to counter them.
I'd rather see us focus more gun power to try to get one other guy out versus spreading our shots around too thin.
Dorito can has been a struggle for us to shoot at.
The Dorito can?
Other teams have been able to shoot it, and we haven't been able to.
I will agree with that.
It's because they've been shooting it from the snake side, and we've been shooting it from the D side.
So it doesn't change the fact that that's happened then. So we haven't really been shooting it either. Because most of our best shots seem like they're going on D side and that delaying guy that goes to the snake tower. Right?
Agreed. Or corners.
Do we ever lose guys on our snake side?
Off the break.
I've been shot delaying.
We tried to do a good job the night before, watching all their matches over again, and also coming up with a game plan we thought we could beat them with.
We've had a lot of experience against Infamous. We know they're a great team, but we know that if we play smart and we slow it down a little bit and we shoot them when they're making their moves, then we can pull it out.
The beginning of that match was really close because we were shooting guys off the break and we were doing a good job keeping their attackers at bay. But the further the match went, they definitely used their experience against us to take really close points and pull them out, whereas we were kind of getting antsy and trying to win the game too early.
What they did was just stepping out on the D side in the open and just laning our entire side. So most of the games we ended up having absolutely no D side. Dan was doing okay in the snake, but by the time he got all the way towards the end of the snake, they just round the corner and just start wrapping on us. So that was pretty much how that entire game went.
I think Damien went to the X twice in that match, and both times he just fucked us up.
Infamous wasn't making any mistakes. We were making little mistakes, so that's why you see them winning bodies up, bodies down, doesn't matter. They're just playing smarter paintball than us.
One guy on Infamous has more experience than our entire team combined. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. It's not an excuse, it's just how it is.
This was the first time I think I saw some people kind of give up in a match. The urgency to win wasn't the same as the last event when we had the relegation champions division. We didn't have that same urgency. The whole time I was thinking about what I could say to the guys or what, I mean, there was something to be said. We got bumped down for the second time. The first time sucked, second time sucked even more. So it's like we worked so hard to get our way back up there, and now we're back down.
At the end of the day, you remember that you're playing against the best players in the world, and if we want to stay in champions, we have the chance to, but we need to prove it. That's what it comes down to.
Going to Riverside, we're just tired of losing. We're ready to win. We want to win, and this is an event where we know we can win. We weren't taking no for an answer, and we were going to stop anybody in our way.
I've said it before, I'll say it again, Texas Storm, and we've always had close matches with them, and they came out to play.
Texas Storm played us pretty tough. We got a major in there. I remember there being a couple long points, and it was definitely a long match, but we eventually pulled it out 7-5.
They had won the first point against us. And in the second point, it ended up to be myself in a 1-on-3. I think that they attacked one at a time. And I think that when that first guy got shot out, the other two panicked a little bit because they thought that they were going to win the point. And because of that, it caused them to kind of lose focus. And them losing that point was a big blow to their team morale. And so we went and scored 6 more points and won the match.
It's funny because we've had a long history with the Jesters and we've actually never beat them in the past. So I was like, all right, let's go out there and not screw up. And the first point they played very well. It was very close and we were just like, oh my God, here we go again. This is gonna be like a 3-3 game with 2 minutes left. But we ended up winning that first point. It was all downhill from there. It kind of felt like they fell apart.
So this event was very different from the previous events because Roberts and Pike had enough time to kind of develop into the players we wanted to see, and this was a perfect time to get them acquainted with playing top-tier teams. And they more than exceeded my expectations. They were alive at the end of the games, closing games, talking, calm. They were completely different players from the beginning of the season.
CEP, we know how they play a little bit more, and we also scouted some of their games, so we had a pretty good look at what their game plan was going to be like, and I think that we did a good job utilizing our attackers in the right spots to win that game.
I felt like Riverside was a big team notion where it felt like a team. You know, it didn't feel like, all right, we got 5 starter players and that's it. It felt like everyone was on the same page and everyone was wrecking.
First point. Go, boy!
First point. Let's go.
We had been in this position before. Our mentality was, let's beat royalty, let's get back into the champions for World Cup, and let's make a statement here.
I got out to the snake side and it ended up being, 3-on-2 where they had the snake corner and the D1. They ran Nick down, we shot that guy, but they ended up trading, so it was just a 2-on-1. And I was in the snake, Toke was in the snake corner, and then Dan was right behind me. It was 0-0, we had all the time on the world, so we just took it nice and slow, spread it out.
I don't care if this point takes 19 minutes, we are gonna win this point. So every time Hamill looked at me, I had no problem just sitting in my bunker. Every time Hamill looked at Roberts, I'd move. Every time Hamill looked at me, Roberts would move. So we played it very smart, very slow. I was eventually able to get into a spot where I knew if that he shot me, I'd shoot him, he shot me. So I started snapping him a little bit. I snuck in a snapshot, caught Hamill in the head.
But keep the composure. Let's go. Let's go, Greg. Let's go. Greg to the 4. Yep. All right.
Play smart.
You win the first point of a long drawn out point, it is such a momentum gainer for your team.
Someone ran down Max and Nick and it turned to a 2-on-2 of me and Greg, and I shot all my paint. I didn't have a single ball left in my loader, and I just knew that I needed to stay alive. We were up 1 point and I knew that they were going to come to us. So I had like 5 balls shaking them around in my loader.
The snake's picking up paint off the ground.
Their sideline coach told them that I didn't have any paint. So he's kind of like getting a little sloppy, rapping a little bit, doing this, and he bumped up to the S3. I just came out, popped him in the mask real quick. That was a really good feeling. So now it's a 2-on-1. I just need to stay alive. I got no paint. I'm hoping Greg's gonna shoot this guy. I think I have like 2 balls left. So then I come out one time with my gun up and he's actually coming up. He's just hanging out all day. I shot him once in the chest and that was the point there.
There you go! Nice flag!
That was like, for me, the clincher. I was like, all right, I can do this. I'm part of this team, and I can contribute. That's a good feeling.
Josh, we have had some fucking games together. That's what I'm talking about, fucking points. So much gumption. So much gumption.
Once we went up 3-0, we don't have to engage, we don't have to battle in spots where we have a chance of losing. It's like, let's get into spots, make them make the mistakes, and then we'll capitalize from there. They pulled off a point or two, but we knew as a team that we're not going to lose this match.
That game really came down to us being able to win the close points against them with our experience, because we've definitely been in those situations at this point, and there is a lot more level-headedness in certain situations that we had over them in that game, and it really affected the match's momentum.
Yeah, we just won. We're going back up as champions for World Cup. That was our main goal here. Now on to our secondary goal, win the event.
Great to fucking play for first. We just gotta take it now. Everybody's gonna calm down, collect our minds, thoughts, fucking go into it, fucking dominate.
When we made it to the finals, the first thing we were thinking about was last Challengers event and why we lost. And we really think that we lost because we had just lost heart after that. We thought, okay, going back up to champions, #1 goal, that's fine. This is just a formality, but the Challengers is a tournament in and of itself. And if you put your guard down, you will lose.
Go, baby. First place. That's all that matters right now. Fucking nothing else. This ain't like last time.
You go, boys, way to handle it. Nick, Max, Derula, you guys are spinning.
We had already played Aftershock, and we had beat them 7-1 pretty handily. And I think the atmosphere in the pits was, yeah, we already beat these guys 7-1. Let's just beat them 7-0. Let's end it quick. Let's go home, have a couple of beers, and that's it. And that was not the case at all. They were laning us off the break. They were capitalizing. They were smart. It was a completely different game than the first match.
Going into the finals, we were expecting them to, get out wide and try and spread the field like they typically do, but they did a great job staying in back and shooting us, and they were crushing us on the snake side. I mean, I played 3 points. I think I got shot off the break every point. Josh, same thing. Hats off to Mikey Bruno. I'm sure he figured out what we were doing and just flipped the script on us and started to, tried to shoot us instead of letting, us shoot them.
It was 2-1, and it was a 2-on-2, me and Dan against two of them. They were in the 50 spike to the right of the X, and I just had a stupid thought in my mind that when he had dove into the snake that they would be crossed up and that I could just run the guy down. But I felt, sometimes when you do something and you're like, wow, that is an embarrassment to myself. That was that moment. I was like, oh shit, I screwed up.
Robert, Stan, Nick, Derula.
With our own game, man.
Right.
We're the patient team. We are the patient team.
Hey guys, let's keep our heads in this, all right? Brand new game, 2-2. Brand new game, 0-0, guys. Here we go.
The score's 2-2. I've made my way into the snake, and I come up in the snake 3, and I'm looking across the field, and someone sneaks a ball into like my armpit, and I'm like, where did that come from? Did it break? And I'm looking, and I see I'm clean. And I get ready to put my gun back up, and the ref's running over at me. I'll just lay down and let him do his job, make sure I don't get a penalty. So he's in there checking me, and I hear, he's coming! I grab my gun and like roll into the bunker, and the ref, I'm like, go. I got so lucky I shot him, but he made a great move. We traded out, left Nick and Lawhead in a one-on-one.
There was definitely a sense of, I'm going to win this one-on-one, because if not, then the finals just kind of go to shit. He was definitely in the worst position between the two of us, so I knew that I could make a creative move into where he couldn't see me anymore, and he lost me between a gap, and I caught him when he was peeking.
Don't you do it.
It was a back and forth match the entire game. There was no point where we were like, all right, we're gonna lose or we're definitely gonna win. It was point for point.
I instantly just turned my gun and just get into the little Dorito on the snake side. Well, somebody had put a shot then on my mask right up in the corner, and when I turned around to look for a ref, next thing you know, the ref was on top of me giving me a major for the pack hit, which I didn't know about, but it was a good call.
Guys, been using gun battles?
Greg got a major. Oh, well, fucking do it. Yeah. From all of our previous experience this year, we've definitely learned how much penalties can hurt the team. And really the main thing is that it doesn't affect the team's morale. So I wanted to make sure Greg wasn't going to freak out or upset the rest of the team. I just wanted everyone's head to be into the next point. It didn't matter that he got the penalty. We were going to come out and beat them no matter what.
Hey, we're good.
Let's just
All right, who now please pin? Shoot him up, boys! Hey, we're getting you out of the box, Greg.
The ruler shoots out their snake corner, and I eventually make my way into the snake. And when I get in there, I pop up, and the Dorito corner moves. So I eventually clip him. I get another shot onto the tower, and then I'm like, it's time to go, because now it's like a 3-on-1, and I hop the beam, run him down, and run into the pit. I remember running into the pit, apologizing that I ended the point too early, because we should have started 5-on-5.
When we were out on the field, we were talking about how we were not only going to get Greg out of the box, we may lose this point, but we were going to win the match.
I look over, all our bodies are dead. So I just take off running the snake side to try and spread the field, but at that point it was like a shot in the dark. Hopefully we can pull this out. Tried to do something wild and shoot a couple people, but at that point you're just waiting to die.
After losing a 2-on-3 with Max and I live and me getting bunkered out, there really wasn't an option other than our team had to step up.
I think that sense of urgency just kicked in. It's like, we didn't come here to play second again. We'd already done that against Vicious. Let's take first. And everybody sacked up.
I just heard 4 only, and I was probably the last guy, the back guy, and took off sprinting full speed. Huge smile on my face, like, this is it. They had like 10 seconds left on the penalty. I was like, no way, not having that. This guy is me. He's into my barrel.
See you, baby!
I haven't had that feeling in a lot of years.
Fucking did it, baby!
Your first one, huh, son?
Yeah, bro!
It's been quite a few years since we've won an event. Even though it was Challengers, we spent months preparing for that event. And when you spend months with a single goal in mind, and you go out there, you fly out to the desert in California, and you spend 4 days working your ass off, and you accomplish that goal, it doesn't matter what division you're playing in. That's the best feeling in the world.
Let's go, boys!
It was definitely a great feeling to win that event. It's the highest ranking of an event that we've ever won. Even though we feel that we belong in Champions, Challengers is still one step up from winning D1. So it was the highest thing that we've ever won before. So it felt really, really good. And I think that it felt great also because we had all 8 guys playing. So it wasn't like, oh, these 5 guys played the majority of the time. It's like we had all 8 and everybody won that event.
Getting back into the Champions Division for World Cup, it really allows us to do what we love to do, and that's play paintball at the highest place we can play it, play the best players, because that's the most fun to us. That's the biggest challenge. And I think that no matter how many losses that we get, no matter what our stance in World Cup is, we have taken every learning experience that we could have taken and every loss that we could have taken, and it only makes us better because we're now a team that gets looked at and we're now a team that gets some respect. And I think that respect only will turn into wins and only will turn into a consistent 187 crew that we want to be in the future.
I see us doing some big things eventually in a couple of years, as long as we stay all together and no one gets married.
So now we're going back in the Challenge Division. I'm thinking about bringing real guns in because I'm angry.
We're not doing anything to shoot these guys back at center. So what happened is when we, oh my God, when we went back, dude, I'm gonna be in like the short bus for this fucking bug. I'm gonna kill it. Anyways. Okay, I'm gonna start over. I swear if I find that in the short bus, I'm coming after you.